Am I wrong for breaking off my engagement after my fiancé and his family told me I needed to sign a prenup? Throwaway account lol. So my fiancé and I have been together for 3 years and engaged for literally 1 month, and within this 1 month it's been low-key hellish and stressful. We're not in a rush to get the wedding over with, but we're just planning the small things, and each time we discuss anything it's an argument. For example, the first issue came in when discussing the guest count. I want a bit of a smaller wedding with a guest count of 100 to maybe 150 people. I've never been one for being in large crowds, especially if I'm the center of attention. I get nervous. He knows this. However, when I told him this, he said, "Wow, that's weird. You're not willing to sacrifice one day for me and have more people. It's like you don't want people to know we're together," which to me was weird because I wasn't putting my foot down saying that it had to be that many people. YK? Later on that same day, I guess he told his mother because she called me and said, "Oh, I'm just calling to see if you have a problem with any of us on this side of the family, because, with a small guest count of 150 people, we won't all be able to show. So why is that? Do you not want us there?" I told her there's no issues between any of us. OFC, I want all of you there. However, I don't want a bunch of people I don't know there, but if you have any people in mind you would like to be a part of it, text me their names and information and I'll see if we can arrange for them. Now maybe I'm tripping, but to me it seemed like an overreaction to wanting a small wedding. However, I brushed it off because I'm willing to compromise. It's not just my day, so whatever. The next issue was about bridesmaids and groomsmen. I agreed to include my fiancé's sister in my bridal party even though we aren't close hust, because I know it would mean a lot to him and could create a bond, while he refused to even consider including my brother in his groomsmen, his reasoning being because he's autistic, he might mess up something and take away the attention from us. This was a bigger argument because my brother is high-functioning, honestly, other than a few minor repetitive behaviors you can't really tell, and I haven't been back home since. He said that because it was a super insulting reason and because when I didn't want to include his sister I was guilt-tripped until I gave in. Last night, I got called and asked if I could go to dinner with him to discuss something. I was under the assumption that he would either apologize or break the engagement off because we were on very minimal contact. Well, I was wrong. When I got to the dinner, he and his parents were there looking as if someone died, very gloomy and serious. YK. We had small talk for a while until his mom starts talking about how all she wants to do is protect her son in the long run. I asked her what she meant and they say that they want me to sign a prenup. I was already irritated because there were no apologies said and they continued to pretend like nothing was wrong, but when they asked about a prenup I was livid. Eve never believed in prenups. I grew up in a family where my mom was constantly fucked over by my dad. And when they got divorced I saw not only how she struggled mentally but also financially. It sucks how there was no obligation for him to pay alimony or barely any child support. I don't want that for myself. On top of that, the entire conversation made me feel as if they were hinting at me being a gold digger, which is ridiculous because there's barely any gold. With the way they were speaking you'd imagine that they were born into an heiress's wealth, but nope, they're all real estate agents that I would say are middle class. I make more than him as an electrophysiologist. Uneasy face. What made me even angrier is the fact that in the prenup proposal they told me there would be no infidelity clause. It seemed like they just were preparing for the worst. I contained myself and said, "I respect you worrying about your son, but I don't even believe in divorce." I lied. And this seems very insulting. I deserve the security to know that along the line if we have kids and he cheats, I and my children are good. It went quiet for a second and I picked back up the conversation saying, "But this is a good moment now that we're all here. I also have been having some doubt about this situation too. Nobody has been willing to compromise on the wedding planning, and it's making me question that if we can't compromise on small things before the wedding, would you be willing to after the wedding, once we're married? Plus you insulted my brother and refused to apologize for it. I'm not gonna be with anyone who feels comfortable talking about my family in a negative manner as if they're less than." He replied saying he was sorry and didn't think it meant that much and not to end the relationship. We could just come up with a middle ground, but in my eyes it's too little too late. The only reason I got an apology is because I said I wanted an apology? I kinda just looked at him dumb and left money for the check and the ring. I'm still young and don't want to spend the next years of my life miserable and have kids with someone who has no respect. YK? I love my brother and told him about everything written here, but he honestly was just like, "I appreciate it, but I jerk that he thinks he'll be a distraction. It's not that serious to me. You didn't have to break up your relationship over that or the prenup, just make him sign one too and make them do an infidelity clause. So now it's like, well fug, if you don't care then maybe it's not that serious and I did overreact. Maybe I just let the stress from work plus planning get to me." I received one long message from my ex-ish fiancé that basically said that he was sorry and would like to see me again to talk about if I meant the things I said. Not sure if I should though. Did I do the right thing or am I wrong? Edit for context. 1. The guest number was already adjusted 4 separate times to meet in the middle. At first I really only wanted to have immediate family and friends, so 70 to 80 we raised it because his side of the family had a lot of relatives who wanted to fly out whom I never met. I raised it to 150 and still it wasn't high enough in their eyes. 2. Who's paying for the wedding? We all are my parents, his parents, and the both of us all came together and put in set amounts, but we haven't put any deposits in for anything yet as we were still choosing what we wanted, and again there's no rush for us. 3. I am aware that alimony and child support are different things. However, alimony in my case would always be used for future children because the child support in my state is very low even when adjusted to his income, and they don't put pressure on parents to pay it. No, I'm not the most educated on alimony, so yes, I might have parts of this wrong. I apologize for that. LOL, I have to do my research. 4. Am I going to go see him after he asked? Probably. I haven't replied to the text yet, but I am leaning towards it. If any more context is needed, please ask.